Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Eunice, and in today's video I'll be doing a self-portrait. And I decided to record this process because the process is slightly different from my typical process, and I just thought I'll share it with you. The first thing that was a big issue for me was because of the orientation and the size. My canvas size is a lot wider than my photograph, so it was very difficult to draw the body because I couldn't really see the body is covered with a lot of like clothing, so I couldn't see the angles and the shape well enough. And because of the angle of the camera is kind of facing down to my face, it was very difficult to draw the angles as adequately as I could. As you can see, this is a very stylized portrait of myself, so it's not really going to look like myself exactly. And you would think that drawing yourself would be a lot easier than drawing other people, but it's just as challenging, to be honest, if not more challenging. And yeah, I was not really focused on the likeness. Do I think it ended up looking like me? I'm not sure. You guys will have to judge for yourself, but I ended up liking the end result, and that's all that matters. At this stage, it looks like a face, but I feel like there is a lot of like things that I need to correct, especially with the cheeks. Obviously I have a lot of like, my cheeks are very full, so I want to make sure that it's obvious in the portrait without over exaggerating it. So what I did was I had to flip my canvas several times just so that I can, make sure that it looks good on both sides, because flipping your canvas will help you to, see the mistakes that you did not see at the normal orientation. And now I'm just adding colors. I like to do this step because it helps me to see exactly how the drawing is going to look in the final result. Like, all I need to do is to render. So I learned to just put the flat colors first and put my dark shadows just so that I can, and I use the multiply layer to add the really dark shadows into the face or the clothing or wherever it might be. And yeah, now I'm straight into rendering. And yeah, what I did this time is that I tried to implement the color zones in the face, because normally I just go straight into applying those colors, applying the same colors in the forehead, the cheeks, and the bottom part of the face, but obviously with color variation. But this time around I decided to stick to the color zones, which are the forehead being yellowish in tone, the cheeks being reddish in tone, and the bottom part being bluish in tone. But obviously if you're a female, you make sure that the bottom part is not too blue, otherwise it starts to create like the mustache look, and that's not what you're going for when you're creating a female character. And also you have to remember that these zones are subtle, like it's not going to be too extreme. But I decided to try this technique in my portrait this time around, just to add more life into my portrait, and I think it was very, very effective. And anytime I'm choosing colors, I try to choose more vibrant colors rather than the original colors, because I feel like in real life the colors are a lot more grayish in tone, but when you're doing your art, it's really nice to add vibrant colors because it makes your drawing look a lot prettier than the reference. And yeah, at this stage I'm liking how it's looking. I like to use a very hard brush to apply my colors, and I would later go back with a smudge brush to smudge out some of the edges I would like to soften. So I feel like that really helps to create that painterly look, the painterly effect that I really like. So, and that's something that is a little bit different from it's not so different from my typical process, but I feel like in this drawing I try to leave some of those hard edges and not use the smudge brush too much, and also avoided using the soft brush completely in this portrait, where normally I'd like to use the soft brush to add like soft shadows and texture, but in this case I just avoided that completely, and I think it's ended up looking really good. And yeah, some of the brushes I used here are some of my custom brushes that I will try to share with you guys at the end of the day. And yeah, it's just constantly going back now at this stage, picking the colors that I've chosen before and adding the final details, final touches. There isn't much to say when it comes to drawing portraits. What advice I would give when it comes to drawing portraits is to what advice will I give? Look at your reference constantly. Look at your reference. Same amount of time you're looking at your own canvas, because it will help you to see the details that you need to add into your drawings and the details that you might be missing. And especially if you're trying to give a form of likeness to your portrait, you definitely have to look at your reference constantly. And I would also say that don't be afraid of trying new things, experimenting with colors, experimenting with shapes and stuff like that. And yeah, so we are almost at the end of the drawing. I'm working on the hair. The hair was actually really challenging. I normally try to draw hair as simple as I can, but in the reference there's a lot of like strands, and I felt like I needed to showcase that in my drawing, and that is why I took my time on the hair as much as I can. And I also I use a lot of the curve tool. I use the curve tool a lot to add shadows and add lightness into my illustrations, because to help me to correct some things. And now that I feel like the drawing is almost done, I would just add some effects at the end. So I'm adding blush. If you guys know my drawings, you know that I always add blush to my characters, especially my female ones. And I like to add some like filters, I would say, just to make all the colors blend well together and to look like one cohesive piece. I feel like that's very vital in the end process for me, and to make everything like look like one drawing rather than separate. And yeah, this is the final result, and I'm really pleased with how it looks. The arms and the body looks really weird because obviously I couldn't see everything in the photograph. You are missing some vital shapes in my photograph. So what I ended up doing is just try to blend the shoulders and the body together with the background, just smudge everything together. The focus is the face anyway, so whatever happens to the body doesn't matter. So I made sure that I left the face as it was and just added the smudges and the texture into the body to make it look painterly and artistic, even though it was just because of my lack of understanding of the body. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned one or few things in this speed paint. I will be working on my brushes and sharing it with you guys very, very soon. I hope you have a lovely day today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.